feels really great now to be back here. So many years since I was on it, like. It's a good 15 years, I'd say, since I was on the ship. There was a lot of locals that worked on the ship here. I just liked all the rigging, the way it's all finished out, like the rigging looks quite good on it, like. Yeah, I love timber work, so I was never qualified on anything, so when I came in here and started the timber work in here, it was a great experience. Irish white oak was used. It's a native of Ireland, like, just cut down in the woods here in Ireland, and it's a lasting wood, like, 'cause it's hard, and it lasts long in ships. Ships years ago were built out of white oak. First they had to be measured out into the shape of the boat, which they used to have a steam box on site when they were building it in the dry dock, and they used to put the timber into the steamer for 24 or 30 hours to soften the timber, and then they put it into a jig that they'd set up to get the shape of the plank to suit the boat. And that was dried, then it was taken off and lifted by crane into the side of the ship and down and put in place, and then it was bolted down, drilled and bolted to the ship.
The bell on the Dunbrody replica is actually all that remains of the original ship. The original ship itself was built in Quebec in 1845, which actually coincidentally is the same year as the famine breaking out. It was commissioned to be a cargo vessel to transport timber from Quebec to New Ross, and as well as that, it was carrying shipments of cotton from Savannah, Georgia into New Ross as well. That was its main thing to begin with. It would start to transport people to America about a year or two into the potato famine itself. The Dunbrody would normally have carried anywhere between 200 to 300 passengers, with the peak being 313 passengers in 1847, Black 47 itself. The average passenger in the steerage facility, which took up 95% of everybody, they were down below deck for 23 and a half hours of the day. And that would have just simply have been spent just sitting in and out of the bunks for the most part. There was no room to get up and walk around as such, and even if there was, you wouldn't be walking around for very long, since the ship is constantly on the violent move at sea. You know, there was only 30 minutes up on deck that a passenger in second class was given, and that time was busily spent cooking their food. You know, they weren't up on deck for too long to look around and stuff. In steerage class, there would be 40 bunk beds, and each bunk consisted of the best part of 5 to maybe 7 people per bunk. That's a full family in one bunk, or perhaps random strangers who never previously met, you know, aligned and signed up beside each other like that as well.
If you look at me there and you look at the mast, it looks like it's leaning towards the back of the ship. It's designed that way, so when the pressure of the sails come on, it puts the pressure back onto the mast, going right down to the key of the ship, so it'll take the force of the wind and all that. The shipbuilders of years ago, like, were very talented, crafted people. They had all hand tools. Everything was done, like, down to excellent work, like, and you can't compare it to modern work nowadays, like, because there's a craft of their own, like.
There was indeed casualties. Luckily, the Dunbrody had one of the higher survival rates in the area, in which few casualties were recorded per journey. The 313 passengers I was talking about there, only 5 were reported to die on that actual journey. The captain, I guess, would act as a person who would, you know, cast the body into the sea, with the next of kin, you know, watching over this kind of final ceremony, the final goodbye like that.
Favourite memory of the ship would be the morning she was launched out of the dry dock when they went out into the river. to see that she didn't topple and she kept floating. She went for sea trials then shortly after that. She done them, sure, and she passed them. Then she came back to dry dock.